murder you.
No murder. Why do we do this again?
This is fun.
So people can get to know us.
Yeah.
Hello, friends. This is KHIT Reads, second edition. It's not titled yet because we're going to blunder our way through it first and then decide on a title.
Where does it say? Where does it say that?
That we're live?
Yeah.
In the very top of the screen, there's like a red live that's kind of pulsing.
Oh, I don't have that. Anyway, continue.
Maybe I only see it because I started it.
No, I see it. Mine's not pulsing, but I totally see that we're live.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
We took a week off. We're probably only going to do it every other week. We'll decide. We're going to share some books and things that we're reading or listening to this week, and because sharing is caring, and that's what we established last week. So, which one of you guys would like to go first?
Me.
All right, Burrs. What you got, girl?
So recently I read a book. It's a kid's book. I had to read it with my son because he broke his arm and he can't do computer stuff on his own. So we read Grace for President, and it's a really good book. It talks about how this little girl found out that no woman has ever been president, and she was flabbergasted by that. So she wanted to run for president, and this class laughed at her. So the teacher said she could run for president of that school grade. So she was running, and of course a boy ran against her, and the teacher gave out electoral votes. So each student had a different state, so each student had different electoral votes, and the teacher said you had to get 270 to win, and the boy didn't campaign because all of the boys had more electoral votes than the girls, so he assumed he was going to win. But Grace campaigned, and by the end of it, there was one boy left to vote, and the guy obviously thought he was going to vote for him, but he voted for Grace, and Grace won. So then she was the president. Yeah.
Very awesome. Teaching girls.
This is how it ends.
Yeah. Spoil the book for everyone.
Sorry. It's really good, though, because it teaches girls that boys support you, too, not just girls.
Right. Yeah. I love that.
So if you a girl, you should definitely read it.
And it's called Grace for President?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know the author on that?
No. I could probably
Kelly DiPucchio.
Oh, she got it.
I'll add it to in the comments when we post it on YouTube.
Thank you.
Social, whatever. So thanks. That's awesome. And you read that to Ollie?
Yeah, Ollie had to read it for school.
Okay.
For his summarizing assignment.
I love it. Sorry. Who wants to go next?
Does that mean my time's up?
Yeah.
No, I mean, if you have other things, is there like anything you've been listening to, or I know you've had a rough road to hoe the past couple weeks, so
Yeah.
Interrupted for real.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've read so far. I haven't even gotten to read adult books lately.
Right. I understand.
Okay, so I'll go next. I just went on vacation, so I've read several books. I read Icy Sparks by Gwyn, Hyman, Rubio.
I love that book.
Yeah, Dani gave me this book. It's very like Before We Were Yours, or like kind of where the Crawdads sing. It's about growing up in the 1950s in Kentucky when you're different. And
Different how?
she has Tourette's.
Okay.
I
I don't know if you meant racially different or physically different, or
there's a little bit of that, and there's a little bit of that. There's all about like, and like her best friend is an adult. Icy's a child, and her best friend's an adult who's like severely overweight, and so she's kind of ostracized for that. So it's a very good book. I would recommend it. It was shocking. I cried in the end.
I think it does a really beautiful job of capturing that time period. In that place. I think that's one thing that author does a really nice job
without being hyperbolic.
Right. And not like trying too hard and not saying, okay, pay attention now, I'm giving you like historical fiction. I really like how she captures that time period so beautifully.
Definitely recommend that book. I read Ready Player One which is not normally my jam.
Oh yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
It's about like this, it's set in the future, but it's not like sci-fi. It's but this guy created this like virtual game, which we have VR, you know, whatever. And then he dies and offers his fortune, $240 billion, to whomever finds this Easter egg in the game. And it was really good. And there's a sequel. I just started it.
Yeah.
That's by Ernest Clive, I think.
I didn't know there was a sequel.
There is a sequel. It's called Ready Player 2.
Oh,
What? How?
Bravo.
Yeah, that was awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to share was, can I screen share? I can. Look at this. Look what I'm doing.
Ernest Cline.
Cline. I was closed. So I did in my BNI group, I did my presentation and I talked about tech myths. And so I found this blog post, 9 technology myths debunked. And this is a really good read. It's very informative and things that you can argue your dad about, like always shutting your computer down at night. That is a myth. You don't have to do that. You don't have to shut your computer down until Windows decides it wants to update, which feels like
in which case it will do so without warning because you'll keep ignoring all these words to schedule an update.
Did you know that the web and the internet are not the same?
I'll be honest with you, I had no idea.
Yeah. So the World Wide Web
Interchangeably.
are not, and the internet are not synonymous. They're not synonyms. So the internet was developed to allow computers and networks to communicate. The web is all the websites which use the internet to pass information through. So those terms are not interchangeable, which I thought was really cool. And then there's also some other, like, what does diversity actually mean? This is a information technology company based out of the UK. And they
speaking of across the pond, Babsy says hello from Germany.
Oh, hi, Babsy.
Still not letting people in, by the way.
It's gonna be fine. We're supposed to go in July to see her. But yeah, they have a lot of really great blogs, and Dani's gonna put that in the thing. But yeah, tech myths. That was a super cool, like, you know, I don't keep your phone on the charger. That's not true. Some of them used to be true, but they're not true anymore.
Right. And I've been posting on Facebook the tech articles on Wednesday mornings, and so I'll add that to the rotation as well.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
That's what I've been reading.
All right. Fantastic. Becky with the good hair.
Okay, so I did 9 Perfect Strangers last week while I was on vacation. Well, kind of vacation, pseudo vacation. So in the evenings I read a book because I didn't have kids, which means it's vacation. So Liane Moriarty is my favorite author of all time. Like, she's the best ever. I think that's why, like, everything she makes becomes like an HBO series. So this one is getting ready to come out on Hulu, and it's gonna have like Nicole Kidman in it. So it looks super like exciting. Like, I'm hoping that they keep it close to the book. But this is about 9 people that, like, if it wasn't for like one situation, so they all signed up to go to a health resort, but like if it wasn't for that health resort, like none of them would have ever connected with each other. Like, they're from completely different walks of life, and each chapter is written through like a different character's eyes and the perspective of what they're watching. Like, as the situation unfolds, like, you're watching it through each person's eyes. And it's just super cool to see like how they interact through the whole thing. And then like they have like this massive event that happens, and like I won't tell you what it is because like that's the best part of it, but like it's one of those like holy craps as everything is happening. And then like she proceeds to like tell you though like what happened like a week after it, and 2 weeks after it, and 3 years after it, and 5 years after it. Like, you follow them to see like how that impacted their life at the end. I think that's really cool because I think a lot of authors, like, they build up to their climax, and like once it happens it's like, okay, cool, bye.
Right.
Like, you never see like how it impacted everybody out
That's
there.
what I like.
I think if you spend so much time with the characters, you want to know what happens to them. You want to know.
Yes.
Exactly. And like, I'm all about like a sequel. Like, give me another one and tell me where they went now. Like, I'm all about that for so much of everything I read.
She did.
I think that's why I like
everywhere.
so much.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say, Katie?
That author did Little Fires Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's the one that did Big Little Lies.
Oh.
Little Fires Everywhere.
Yeah, Little Fires Everywhere is really good too, but that's by someone else. I don't remember who wrote that one.
I keep hearing
But she's the one that did Big Little Lies that Reese Witherspoon did as the HBO series.
oh,
And then she's also wrote The Husband's Secret, which is amazing. If you haven't read The Husband's
I've
Secret,
read everything about her. I love her too.
The Husband's Secret is not what you think it's going to
the
be.
Little Fires Everywhere. Is he gay?
That
No.
It's Little Fires Everywhere is by Celeste Ng. I don't know how to say it. Ng.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
And
Yes. That's a really
she
good
also
book
did
too,
Everything I Never Told You. Celeste did. That's a
Yes.
good one too. Those are two of my favorite authors. Definitely.
I haven't read anything by them.
Mm.
I have tons of the Liane ones. When you need
Moriarty.
something, let me know. Yep.
I-
I have a ton of
I've
her
had
books.
one on my nightstand for a freaking year. We were reading all those books for a particular, we were going to do a podcast, or we did a podcast, and with zero follow through. And so we had like a book list. And so I bought all these books, and then I didn't read a lot of them because I don't know why. I sometimes with female authors I have a difficult time. It's like different phases of my life, right? Like I'm drawn to different things. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad.
I have where the Crawdads sing
I
now.
love that
I
book.
started that one on my second flight
I love
home.
that book.
Yeah,
Katie gave that to me.
it's super good so far. But now I'm back to real life, and Hurricane Stella tends to prevent me reading adult books. So we'll see how long it takes me to get through
You should
it
just
now.
read it out loud to
I
her.
like-
guess what?
I should. That's like the only time I read is when I tag along on Nick's work trips, because he works so late in the evenings that I like read a whole book through my evening time.
Love it.
I work so
And then we get back with kids, and I don't get to read big girl books anymore.
Do what? I didn't hear the last part.
She said she doesn't get to read.
I said then I'm back to big. Yeah, I don't get to read big girl books.
Well, I don't have kids, so I've been rereading Katie gave me a Dead Tree copy. That's that's what my man friend calls books, like paper books.
Man friend.
My man friend. He
How
calls
old
them
are
Dead Tree
you?
books.
Like 70.
It's a in the city reference.
Oh, okay. Oh, right.
They go up to the VFW together.
And I love you all.
Continue with
Anyway.
your book.
What's that chlorophyll?
Go on with the chlorophyll.
I'm rereading Fiber Fueled. I'm working through it. I have not prepared myself entirely to do the 4-week plan for it, but so I've been doing that. And then of course I went down a rabbit hole and I found the Sprout book by Doug Evans, and he is so enthusiastic, and he's got a lot of research in his book regarding sprouts and consuming sprouts. Katie, could you not look so like amused right now? So you can see the kind of like where my mind has been lately. And then I got this magazine last fall, Forks Over Knives. And these magazines sometimes this was $12.99 or no, $9.99, right? And but I bought it on an impulse. I was probably feeling sorry for myself. But I never really cracked it. So I've been reading those recipes. I'm that weirdo that likes to like read recipe books. And in my podcast right now, not my podcast, my Audible books right now are the Cormoran Strike series. I just love them. The narrator is my absolute favorite. So J.K. Rowling writes under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. And so she's created this series, and I just absolutely love it. So if you like detective series, you should definitely listen to that. I have access to Pam's, my neighbor's, Audible things. So I'm like a child. I listen to them like I listened to them like 6 months ago, and I listened to them again. Katie, do you remember that one article that you read when you were teaching why kids like to watch the same shows over and over again?
Yeah,
and
because
why they
what's going to happen. It doesn't cause anxiety. It's like the opposite of anxiety. And that's why they like watching the same things over and over again.
Yeah, I feel like when I am having like, if I'm just tense or whatever, I just like to go back to an old favorite and listen to it again. And sometimes I pick up new things, but most of the time I know where the story's going to go. I know that I like it. And so that's something that I really like. So one thing that I also do is, because reading helps you grow your brain, even if it's junk reading or, nonfiction, fiction, literature, whatever. I feel like it's just really good for your brain. And so I've not been doing good because I don't drive anymore because #pandemic and working from home, but this is my car book. So I have a book that I keep in my car. And so if I'm like get stuck by a train or in a parking lot, I was at the vet the other day waiting on the dogs. So I have a car book. So the Manual of Detection, if you like the movie Inception, you will really like this book.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's Inception. Yeah, because that's the dream one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's so cool. So this guy is a clerk for a detective agency, and there's like nobody talks to anybody. You work on a certain floor, you do your job and he's a clerk for a detective. And then all of a sudden one day some guy shows up at a train station while he's on his way to work, and he hands him the Manual of Detection and says, "You've been promoted." And so it's all about that in his next mystery or whatever. So
That's cool.
Hell yeah.
Brett. He really liked Inception. Yeah, the car book is a really good idea. That's why I try to always have books on my phone. I'm reading the third in a young adult, Crush, Crave, and then Covet is number 3, and then Court is number 4. So I'm reading that, but it's not like.
Well, it's like watching, junk TV shows, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes your brain just needs to stop and you just watch something dumb. There was a stupid like teenage vampire series that we read, like it was a mother-daughter or something.
Yes, the writer.
They were horrible. It was like a train wreck. I couldn't stop.
House of Night, I think. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Betrayed, Chosen. There's like a whole bunch of them.
They were all in the tattoos and just like, I barely remember any of it. And it was so freaking like,
it was awful,
emotional, dramatic, and the dialogue was just miserable. But I just couldn't put it down.
I read all those.
Like they're good.
Yeah.
They really serve a purpose.
PC Cast and Kristin Cast.
Yeah. Oh yes. Oh my God.
Yeah, you get sucked in really easily.
Oh my God, it's awful though.
And look, you can tell that we're Half Price book fans.
Yeah.
I mean, $2. I mean, why would you buy this stuff full price if you're not reading something that comes straight out of off the press? Then freaking go to Half Price Books or a used bookstore, man. Look, I go to Jeffersonville a lot. Oh, but I'm a Rain Man.
There's like 15 books though.
Oh my God, I can't even.
Read them.
I read one, and
it's not the best writing, but
that's okay. That's okay.
It was also like a good 10 years ago that I read it, probably before I children.
Yeah, they're not new. Yeah. So, what's next on your to read pile? TRP. Not for the TPS report.
Yeah. So for our listeners, Rebekah did not watch Office Space, and
because she's young.
Dani mentioned the TPS reports, and Rebekah called me concerned that Dani needed help with her TPS reports. I almost peed my pants.
Because she's young. You couldn't watch that.
I was trying to be thoughtful and helpful.
I would have been like 3 when it came out or something.
I'm so sorry. It was
I know about the red stapler, and I know that they did something terrible to a printer. That's the extent. That's all I got.
So about the TPS reports. I don't know what's on my next to read. I'd like to read more like articles and stuff and capture those ones that I, read. I'd like to read some more blogs.
Yeah,
I'd like to write some more blogs.
I know.
My computer was dead. I lost that when I was writing.
Did you not have it in a Google Doc?
No. I have to go. Okay.
See, we're a G Suite company. Bless your heart.
No, I had a word. I don't know why.
So I started where the Crawdads sing, and then I have The Wives by Taryn Fisher sitting on my nightstand for my next one.
I think I haven't watched.
I'm super excited to start it.
Thanks, Watchers. Oh my gosh, that book is so scary.
What is it?
Watchers.
What is that? Who's that?
Dean Koontz.
It's like the scariest book I've ever read.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought the haunting at Hill House was scary. Okay, I had nightmares about a cold hand grabbing my arm for weeks.
Didn't they make that into like a Netflix?
They did,
show?
and that's terrifying. But the book is not.
I've heard that's terrible. Don't watch it.
It's magnificent. If you like to be scared out of your absolute wits, like
Well, Watchers is where
I
people in the country.
see.
Yeah.
I can do like serial killer scary. I can handle that all day long. I don't do ghosts, like the ghosts and demons and that, because I don't do that kind of stuff. I can do serial killer
don't
all
do
day
Haunting of Hill
long.
House.
Okay.
Okay. So anything else? Because Amber has to go. I don't have a next read yet. Oh well,
okay.
Ready Player 2. I just checked that.
Right.
Out, so I'm gonna read that.
I have an entire series I need to bring to Amber tomorrow morning,
Hi, Ollie.
but they're very Amber-esque.
Oh, okay. We know what that means.
Yeah.
All right, friend. Well, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. If you watch or watch in the future, if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments in our YouTube comments, or you can leave them under when we post it on social. We'll post it on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and things like that. Feel free to leave us some suggestions. We're always looking for a to be read pile. TR. I don't know. We'll workshop it.
TBI. All
All
right.
right, friend.
We'll set up
Yeah. Meeting to get an acronym.
Perfect. All right. Peace out, Homeschool.